Have you ever read a book and wanted to go to the place within the pages? I've always been the type of person to get lost in two things: books and new travel locations. There's just something about stepping into a story and feeling like you're somewhere else entirely, and I've realized traveling gives me that same exact feeling. So I started to wonder, what if these places did not have to stay fictional? If these characters could travel, where would they go? What would they do? Where would they stay? What would their world look like if we could actually experience it here on Earth? Let's take this book and book a trip. So welcome to episode 2, where we will be going into one of my favorite series of all time, Throne of Glass. It's another one of her beloved series. Throne of Glass starts with Celaena Sardothien, an assassin who's been locked away in a labor camp and is barely surviving. She's taken out of the labor camp and offered a deal: enter a competition at the royal court, win, and earn her freedom. When she's inside the castle, it's not just about competition. There are secrets, strange things happening behind the scenes, and a constant sense that something is off. What starts as a fight for survival turns into something much bigger. And as the series goes on, the world opens up far beyond the castle and the stakes get much bigger. Throne of Glass is personally my favorite out of any Sarah J. Maas book series. I read them all within a couple months, a couple years ago, and I feel sick thinking about them. That's how much they mean to me, which means I am so excited to be booking this trip. You guys have no idea. The places we're about to go are insane. When I create the outlines for these videos, I try really hard to think through the characters' lens and make it very personal to them, things that they would actually want to do, and sometimes that can get kind of borderline spoiler-ish. In this episode, there will be no spoilers. Last episode, we had to get into a little bit of mild spoilers for the series. This one, there won't be any at all. ACOTAR is very romantic and dreamy, but Throne of Glass is much more about survival and strength. It feels colder and a lot more intense than ACOTAR does. So I knew this trip would not be anywhere soft or pretty like ACOTAR was, and that's what led me to want to book this trip for Norway. Terrasen has always felt northern to me: mountains, snow, forests, and just a really old, timeless feeling to it. And then you look at locations like the Lofoten Islands or the fjords, and you think, yeah, that's it. With the jagged mountains, the cold water, the tiny villages, the space everywhere, Celaena would love it. For this trip, we will be planning this vacation through 3 different locations. Unlike Farah, Celaena wouldn't be the type of person that would want to stay in one place for too long. She'd want to keep moving, keep exploring. She's always on to the next thing. I'm thinking we could do about 8 days for this trip, including our travel days. So there's time to move around, but also have time to breathe and relax. And this feels like the type of place that Celaena would actually choose. She's always going somewhere new, but she's able to sit, relax, and take in where she is. From my research, I think the best time to do this trip would be probably late summer, early fall, where it's cooler, a little quieter, less touristy, but the landscape obviously is pretty amazing year-round, and all the things that Celaena would want to do would still be accessible. Welcome to my Pinterest once again, where I love a good mood board. We will be making visuals for this trip, and Pinterest is the best way to do that because all of the most aesthetic pictures are always on Pinterest, but sometimes we do have to resort to Google because Pinterest is not always the best at getting specific locations. That's okay. We're gonna find the vibe of everything, the clothes that she would wear, the aesthetic of the day. We're gonna go by each day on the itinerary. If you go over here, we have my Canva board where I will be putting all the mood boards here and then cleaning it up in between each day, making them pretty. We'll go through them and move on to the next day. So let's get started. I had so much fun doing this first episode. I cannot wait to continue doing this. Obviously, I'm doing Sarah J. Maas series right now. If you have any requests for any book at all, if I've read it, I'll do a series on it. I can always read the book too if I need to. Throne of Glass takes place in Terrasen. So when I was trying to figure out where I wanted this to take place, I kept thinking of Norway, and then I discovered the Lofoten Islands, and also I apologize for my pronunciation, and wait till you guys see what they look like. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait one day to go to Norway. I've not yet been. I took a DNA test a few years ago, and I am 75-ish% Norwegian. I've always wanted to go there, but it is a very expensive country, so that's why I have not yet gone. But when I go, I need to go here. That's enough about me. Let's get into the actual planning of the trip. The starting of this trip, or the majority of it, is going to take place in this area of Norway. Now that we've landed on here being our main point, I guess, we can start planning the finer details. We will be staying in this city of the islands. It's one of the most scenic villages. It's still quite hide enough and tucked away that Selena would love it. She'd get a lot of privacy from it. Okay, first of all, we need to pull over some of these pictures, put them onto our mood board. Again, I'll clean it up once we have a better idea of everything we're doing. This is where we are going to be starting the trip. How absolutely stunning is that? I love the red cabins on the water. And speaking of, for where to stay, I'm thinking that she would want one of those cabins right on the water, but a nicer one she can have to herself, even if it isn't necessarily meant for only one person. Something about Selena is that she was raised an assassin. She can handle the harsher elements, the rougher conditions, but she also loves luxury. She's not necessarily wanting to live in a rough condition unless she has to. She's able to do it, but she loves a good luxury place and item, as we can see from her place that she stays, her apartment in Rifthold. I'm gonna look on Airbnb. We're gonna look for a place in this area and see what there is, because I think with how much she's moving around, Airbnb could be a great option for something that she would like. These cabins were traditional fishing cabins that were originally used by the fishermen in Norway. They were built right on the water so fishermen could go right out to sea. And a lot of them have been preserved and turned into places that you can stay in now, which is what we're looking for. So even though they're really nice places to stay today, they have a lot of history to them, which fits this part of the trip really well. So it's that good balance of something that feels a little more rugged and remote, but also with a good view and you're still within distance of everything else. A comfortable space where she's going to be able to relax at the end of the day for the things we have planned. Okay, I'm looking for places to stay right now on Airbnb. I'm not going to worry too much about price because she makes a lot of money as an assassin. I'm seeing this one and oh my gosh, I think this is going to be perfect. Look at this view. I'm going to pull it up onto our Canva board. This looks like it would be a great place that she would want to stay. It's super nice. She has a balcony she could go up on, and it would be nice because she could have the entire place to herself and maybe even see the northern lights. I'm not sure what time of year that they happen, but we're gonna land on this. She's gonna stay here. This is gonna be a great place to stay for the first 3 days of her trip. It's a cabin right on the water and it feels exactly like something she would pick. And then more on the details for day one. Obviously this is a travel day. Our first and last day always are. She's gonna get settled, take in the view, settle her things, and then I think she'll just wander around her surroundings. She'll explore the village a bit, and then we'll have a more exciting next couple days here. Starting with day one here, we are arriving. You can see that with our passport and our luggage and some other backpacks that I thought Selena might want to take with her. I think she'd want to pack pretty light and rewear clothes throughout the trip, but you can see I have a comfy travel outfit. We have the beautiful town that we're staying in, the buildings that we're seeing, pictures from the actual Airbnb listing that I have Selena staying in. It is absolutely beautiful. It holds that fantasy vibe while still feeling like a Norwegian vacation. Day two is where we'll be able to start doing a little more exciting things. I mean, personally, I wouldn't be complaining doing nothing in a place like this. There's so much to see. But day two is feeling like a hiking day to me. Something with a view, something a little challenging, where she can feel like she earned something when she got to the top. I feel like that's something she would want to do. I'd have her do this hike. This is the most famous view, I guess, in Lofoten. We have all these steps. If you've read The Assassin's Blade, which is the prequel book to the Throne of Glass series, you know that she has done some challenging workouts and she is mentally and physically strong. This would be a piece of cake to her, but something that I definitely think that she should do. I cannot believe some of these views. They are insane. This is a steep climb up these steps. It's around, I think, 1,500 steps from what I found. Definitely a workout. It usually takes 1 to 2 hours depending on the pace, and it's inclined pretty much constant the whole way up. After that, I think that she would want to get some food because that is exhausting no matter how physically fit you are. I am seeing this restaurant. It's expensive, but again, we're not going to worry about budget. I would imagine this would be a great place for her to go after her hike. The food looks delicious, and look at the places you can go out to eat. I imagine her sitting here during golden hour after her hike getting food. It also looks like you could stay at one of their fishermen's cabins here. Another great option. I'm gonna stick with what we picked. I love the grass on the roof. Can you imagine staying in a place like this? Because I cannot. This will be a great start to our trip and a great end to this day. It's been a few years since I've read the books, but I'm pretty sure she has a big sweet tooth. I mean, at least if I were her, I would be ending my meal with a sweet as well. Day two, we're doing some hiking, and I picked out these hiking outfits because when you read fantasy books, a lot of times they'll have very tight leather training outfits, and that's what Selena wears when she trains throughout Throne of Glass. I thought these were the closest match I could find on Pinterest. You can see her hiking route that she would take and then having dinner later at night in the town she's staying in. I think this sounds like the the most perfect day. This dessert looks delicious. I am starving, about to go make lunch, and I cannot wait, honestly, until I'm done with this video so I can go eat, and these are making me very hungry. For day 3, we're gonna do an exploring day before we leave Lofoten Islands. She'd rent a car and drive along the E10, which is the main road that runs through the islands. There are a few different stops I want her to take, but the drive itself is part of this experience. There's mountains on both sides, you have the water in view, and a lot of places to pull over spontaneously and see your surroundings. One of the main stops would be this beach. Cannot comprehend it. The water is stunning. She'd be here when it's warm enough that she could go lay on the beach, the sand, swim, and that's something that she would definitely want to do. Let's scroll through Pinterest here and then we can find a few pictures to add to our mood board. After planning this trip, Norway has climbed to the top of my list of places I want to travel to. I also want to find some pictures of swimming because she would take a dip. I mean, how can you not when you're staring at water as gorgeous as this? These are going to represent our first stop on this road trip. This beach obviously is known for its white sand, really clear water. It's quiet, open, and doesn't feel crowded like beaches you would imagine when you think of Italy or Greece, and Selena would much prefer that over that. Right next to it is actually another beach that I want her to go to. Let's search that beach now. It does feel different than the first one, but somewhere she still would want to go to. I would imagine she'd spend time between the two beaches enjoying both views at the beginning of this road trip after her drive to it from where she's staying. This beach though is different. It's more rugged. There are rocks along the shoreline, not really a sit out and lay type beach like the other one is. And then on the way back, there's one more place that I want her to stop. This is a small fishing village, but it has a few shops and places to eat, so it breaks up the day a little bit, especially when you've been on the beach forever. Beautiful. A different look than the place we're staying, so she can experience a little bit of a different town. And then as for food, I'm seeing good reviews for this place. It's a fish tavern. How cute is that? I personally have a weird thing with seafood. I cannot eat it. Selena would. She would not be a picky eater. Maybe this is a touristy spot, but it does feel more local than some of the other places that I'm finding. And with that, that would complete our day 4. We'd head back to where we're staying, and that is a long enough day. She could just relax for the rest of the day. We're going on our little road trip for the day. I have some bathing suits packed that Selena might wear. I think something more simplistic, earthy tones would be her vibe, and a comfy travel outfit since we'll be spending quite a bit of the day in the car when we're bouncing from place to place. You can see the stops on our road trip. Absolutely beautiful. I cannot believe this water and I want to hop in it so bad. I can definitely see her doing, because later in the series she does love the beach. So moving on to day 4, time to leave the Lofoten Islands. This makes me so sad. That is one of the most beautiful places I think I've ever seen, and I really hope I can go one day. So unfortunately this is going to be technically another travel day, but we have an amazing place that we're heading off to. There's a bit of chain of events that she would have to do to get to this place, like taking a train and then renting a car and driving towards this place. And this drive I think would be a little bit less stunning than the other one, but it's still really beautiful. But now we are seeing more of the fjords of Norway, so this is where we're looking at. For where she's staying, I want to pick somewhere quiet with a good view, of course. I'm on Airbnb again because there are some great options on here, and I've actually done Airbnb quite a few times when I've done international trips. It just makes sense for this type of trip. Okay, I found this. It's an apartment. Can't you just picture her laying out here tanning? Because I can. This is beautiful. This looks straight out of a fantasy book, and when I saw this picture of this rose pavilion, it sold me on the place, because of course we are planning a trip, but we're inspired by books, and since this is a fantasy book, this felt perfect. Going through the pictures, looks clean. The view is incredible. We've hit all of the things that I want for a place, which means we're gonna make it official and put it onto the mood board. It's fun when we find places like this because then you can take the pictures that are from the actual listing to show where she would be staying on this trip. And then the mood board feels very authentic, like you were actually planning this trip. And boy, do I wish I was. There's a marina in the front that is accessible. Oh my gosh, the more I find out about this place, the more I am sold. Oh my gosh, take a morning plunge just outside the apartment. Yeah, okay. And although I was sad to leave the last location, coming here, I'd be happy. Like, you can't really be that sad when you get to go right back to views like this. You know, since this is a bigger travel day, I'm thinking this would be a slower night, just settling in, maybe going for a short walk, and then having a good dinner and resting up before the next part of the trip. Because we have a lot more places to go, things to see, things to do. We gotta get rested up for that. Moving to another place is always sad, but also, I guess bittersweet in a way is the better word to use for it, because we get to stay in a beautiful place like this. And this is a settling day. We're traveling to get here and then kind of chilling the rest of the day. But we have the beautiful area here outside with the roses, the trellis. Stunning, looks like a fantasy book. I can picture her out here tanning, just relaxing, and yeah, exploring this beautiful town, maybe taking a dip on the dock at the marina, who knows. Okay, day 5, we are going to take about a 2.5 hour drive. We're going to see one of the well-known fjords, and it is well known for a reason. The drive is beautiful, you get the winding roads, views along the way. This is where our final stop is going to be on this road trip. It does not look real. It actually does not look real. And baby, you best believe I would be driving to see a view like this, let alone flying across the entire globe to go to Norway from the United States. Oh my gosh, you understand why this is so well known in Norway. Coming from the United States, sometimes I have a hard time comprehending that people actually live in places like this, and not even just that there are people that are born in places like that. I mean, duh, but it's hard to comprehend when you come from middle America. And I have been so blessed to be able to see so many places of the world through traveling that it makes that realization hit even harder for me. I could be putting in pictures from this place on our mood board all day. I have to cut myself off there. But once she's there, I was thinking maybe she could do something like a river cruise. You can see it here. Or maybe rent a kayak, something where you're actually out on the water instead of just looking at it. I started to think, and I was like, I think she would do the kayak. I think she would prefer that to the river cruise. And when you're going, you get to pass things like the Seven Sisters waterfall. I can't even imagine seeing that through the viewpoint of being in a kayak. Can't you see her in a kayak like this? Maybe she would be in a group, a tour guide group. That seems something right up her alley, and something quite frankly I would want to do. That would be the summary of day 5. She would head back to where she's staying, and now we get to move on to day 6 of the trip. Right after I put this mood board together and show you day 5. Day 5, we're doing something different. We are going to kayak in this fjord. I thought this was beautiful. I kind of figured it'd maybe be more chilly, who knows. So I picked out this outfit for, I guess, when we're gonna be kayaking near these waterfalls. We have our hiking backpack. Yeah, it's a pretty self-explanatory day. We're driving to here. We're gonna kayak. Day 6 of the trip, we are going to be doing the biggest hike of the trip. One of the biggest hikes I could ever imagine. Something that is on my bucket list of things now that I want to do one day, and something right up Selena Sardothian's alley. So this is the hike she's going to end up doing, and it's going to take the entire day. It usually takes around 6 to 8 hours, and it follows a ridge most of the way, but you're constantly surrounded by views. You're looking out over the valley, there's sharp mountain peaks, and the fjord below. Of course, we need to be adding these pictures to our vision board. From what I'm gathering through pictures and research, there are sections of this hike that feel a bit exposed, where you're higher up and then there are steep drops on either side of you. So you need to be focused the whole time while you're hiking. Maybe a bit scary for an unexperienced hiker. I definitely need to get more experience before I do something like this, but for someone like Selena, she'll be able to do this. I'm also seeing that it's not like a super technical hike, but it takes a lot of endurance, and you would definitely be tired by the end of it. I mean, if it's 6 to 8 hours, but it feels very Throne of Glass coded to me. You have to constantly be pushing forward, working through everything. Nothing comes to you unless you earn it, really. And it's all about the process of getting there, and reading Throne of Glass series in general is a huge journey, and this is going to symbolize that for the trip. I'm gonna find more pictures, clean this up, and I will be back to show you the finished mood board for day 6. Welcome to day 6. We have a long hike today. I picked out another hiking outfit I could see her wearing, something tighter, kind of reminiscent of those tight leather training outfits. This hike is absolutely beautiful. I could see her just pulling her hair back in a loose French braid. That feels very fantasy coded to me. Pretty self-explanatory, but beautiful nonetheless. Day 7 is going to be another travel day, but it's going to be different than our last one. She'd leave her last area and then it's about a 2 to 3 hour drive to where we're going. Beautiful views. No one's going to be complaining driving through views like that. We will be going here for our final stop. I think this will be a great place to end. From my research, this seems like the most famous place to stay here. And look straight out of a fantasy book, it's going to be perfect for our Throne of Glass trip. It says that it's proud to cater to travelers to explore the essence of adventure, luxury, and sustainability. There are a variety of immersive adventures led by local guides, and then there's a lot of things obviously you can experience: driving, hiking, skiing, kayaking, cycling. This is a place you could probably do a whole trip at, but we're just gonna end the last 2 days of our trip here. She, I think, would want to be in some sort of suite. I'm not really sure what the difference is, but this one says it has views of the fjord, mountain, and valley. Selena loves bougie, and I think she would splurge when she went on vacation. One of the most ornate rooms I've ever seen. It is stunning. Looks like it's out of a fantasy book. This is definitely my favorite place, obviously, that she's going to be staying in during this trip, and I think she's earned it. She has done some really hard hikes. She has stayed in some really nice places. This is going to be the cherry on top of the entire trip that she has worked up to. Decorations are absolutely stunning. I love wallpaper. I wish it was more of a thing than it is. I would love to have a house one day and fill it with pattern wallpaper. And look at this. This is Throne of Glass. This is Throne of Glass in a building. When I'm sitting here for so long, my legs start to go numb. Anyways, another thing about Selena is that she loves a bath, and this is a beautiful bathroom. A huge focal point at the end of the trip is going to be the room, and this I've already decided is a perfect place, but out of curiosity, I do want to look at the other suites. Yeah. Okay, I have made the right decision. Beautiful. You would not be complaining staying here, but the main suite is stunning, and these, again, are all beautiful. But if she had a choice, she would be choosing this suite. This day would be mainly about her settling in. This day would mainly be about her settling in after her travel day. She would relax, enjoy the place that she's staying. I'm gonna find more pictures, too, of this town, and let's throw them all together. Day 7, we are shifting gears again to staying in this beautiful hotel. The suite that we're staying in definitely looks like a fantasy book. I could see her in pajamas, something like this, flowy, elegant, as she walks around this beautiful hotel room. I also put lavender soap. If you know, you know. But I could see her having a relaxing spa day vibe. I also did find that they have some spa amenities at this hotel. I could see her indulging in some of those. But yeah, it's gonna be a pretty relaxing day. We have arrived to day 8, our final day of this trip. Makes me so sad to say goodbye to this trip. You know, again, she has earned to just stay put for a day. That's what she's gonna be doing for this day, but I do have some fun things planned. In the morning, I do think she would still want to go on a hike nearby. I found this place that she can hike. So she would do this hike because it's nearby. Maybe go do that in the morning. Very casual for her. It takes a few hours, but it's gonna feel very short in comparison to the last hike that she did. You still have those amazing views over the fjord and mountains. And maybe she'd bring her doggy with her. She does have a dog, a little golden retriever named Fleetfoot that maybe she'd bring with her on this trip. I'm not quite sure how he would do with some of these other things, but we're just gonna say that maybe he's here with us in spirit, even if he didn't actually come with. And then after that, she would come back to the hotel, she'd rest, she'd shower, she'd get ready for the night. I think she'd put on a very fancy dress and then have dinner at the restaurant that's at the hotel. Look how beautiful. Okay, so there are a few different places that she could have dinner. I also want to mention, this is a side note, but as a graphic designer, this website is chef's kiss. It is beautiful. The photography is beautiful. A big thing I wanted to include in this itinerary with Selena is her music and love of music. We see throughout the story how impactful music is for her, and she plays the piano. And doing research in this hotel that she's staying, listen to this. There's a grand piano in the salon that to this day seems poised to be the center of your holiday's musical entertainment. One of her hands is a pianist at hand, ready to continue the hotel's musical tradition musician. The hotel's director is a trained classical singer. In short, there is a large history with the piano at this hotel. There is a chance that Selena could see someone playing the piano while she's there, and I love that. I think that is perfect. There's not a ton of pictures or information, but when I searched it on Google, I did find the pianos that are at the hotel. And maybe she could even perform for some people. I think that is the perfect ending for this trip. I'm gonna put this together and let's walk through it. We have made it to the final day of this trip. It is so sad to say goodbye, but I have loved planning this trip and cannot wait to plan more. We're gonna go for our morning hike, of course. We gotta get some sort of movement in, especially because yesterday was a more relaxing day. I also found that on Saturdays they have some like tea time things. I could see her going to do with the food, maybe meet some people. Otherwise, we're gonna have a relaxing day at the hotel. We're gonna get dinner, and then of course we're gonna be either playing the piano or listening to someone playing the piano. And I thought, it's our last day. Let's dress up for a day. I found these beautiful dresses that I could see her wearing, very Throne of Glass coded. I had so much fun planning this trip. Thank you so much for coming along the ride with me. Make sure you subscribe if you want to stay updated when I post new videos, and if you have any suggestions at all of any books you want to see me do this series for, I would love to look into it. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.